this is Al. We're looking at Meloetta Dragapult. I have to ask you, do you think Meloetta Dragapult is the way? Now, what am I talking about? This Meloetta is actually a new card coming in Black Bolt White Flare, our next TCG expansion for the Pokemon TCG, and it has a really interesting ability and card. So it's at 200 HP. It has the ability Life Premier. This Pokemon can attack on your first turn going first. This bends the rules of the game. Normally you cannot attack first turn. But what attack does it have already built in? For one Psychic, it is Echoed Voice at 30, and similar to the games, during your next turn, this Pokemon's Echoed Voice does 80 more damage. I really love when the cards can kind of mimic the actual attacks of the Pokemon, and this is one example. Here is our live debut singer, live premiere. Now, this bending of the rule thing is pretty unique, and I think a lot of players are really excited to see how they can maybe incorporate Meloetta in future decks and into the meta. And one thing we're seeing in Japan already is the inclusion of some Meloettas into Dragapult. So that's what this video is kind of talking about, and specifically not just slotting it into Dragapult and just going from there. It's kind of changing the way Dragapult decks are played to a degree. We're gonna go into it, and of course, this is all just fun speculation. I can't give authority or say how things are gonna shake out or anything like that because we haven't really played with the cards much, and I do believe it just is gonna come down to player preference on whether or not they might try and include this into their own lists. So definitely keep that in mind, but I think it's really fun to kind of compare and speculate a little bit. So the strong points of this attack is that it does break the rules, and it's kind of just at least one energy, which is a Psychic Energy, and that's why it's kind of being easy to slot into Dragapult because they already run Psychic Energy and Fire Energy. 30 might be small, but if you're playing it in Dragapult, potentially Dragapult can clean up that later, or if you have this with Monkey Dory, that's still a 30 damage ping, so that's significant. Now, the other cool thing, though, is that you can use TM Evolution as an attack. This means setup is potentially very fast and powerful, including, just right off the first turn. And the decks we're seeing are kind of built around this aggressive, fast Dragapult Meloetta tag team. The weak points, though, initially, looking at it, is that 200 HP is pretty low, but also you have to kind of get a lot to get this combo off, and you can't always get it off. But we're going to be, of course, running some consistency cards to try and get it off as often as we can, but, no guarantee. We will be trying to get this off as much as we can, but I don't think it's also that simple to just kind of slide into the decks too easily. Maybe it will be, but the decks we're seeing over in Japan and stuff, like I alluded to earlier, are kind of a different strain of Dragapult almost. And let's go ahead and look at that on some deck lists as well. So a number of these are from Book. I will have that linked. And this kind of shows there's usually, they do look similar for sure. These are kind of recent results. And we have things like Meloetta, a 2 count of them. We have Squawkabilly. This one has a 2 count of Squawkabilly. We also have a 4 count of Carmine in these decks. We're seeing stuff like that. Basically, we're running multiple 2 copies to make sure that I guess we can see it in the opening hand. I mean, it's not the greatest thing late game, I don't know, I don't think it's the greatest Pokemon to have on board late game. I think the 2 count to them is more like just trying to get that off in the early game, but I could be wrong there. Now, these lists also have a heavy strain on tool cards. Tool cards are being used, and cards like Air Balloon are able to kind of have zooming action. What I mean is, if you want to go for this Meloetta first turn play and stuff, you might sometimes have to try setting her up and getting her into the active spot. Latios is kind of already sometimes seen in Dragapult, and that can help move things around if you don't immediately start with her. We also see the Carmine. Carmine is right here. Basically, yeah, how do they differ from the usual Dragapult decks? Because these aren't quite the usual Dragapult decks. I would say that they differ in the fact that, again, they are kind of turbo built, and they are putting a heavy emphasis on the early game, it seems. Now, Carmine is a supporter who's actually pretty cool. If you go first, you may use this card on your first turn. you discard your hand and draw 5 cards. You know, we already kind of see a big variety of Dragapult decks, and I think it's really interesting to see these new innovations and this new style of gameplay for sure. Because I like the different variations. I think it really makes things more exciting, you know, things to pull off. You can see in these deck lists we also have a lot of town store because we are using so many tool cards, using that TM evolution, using the air balloon, and naturally, that also it looks like it can cause a spike in using the Sparkling Crystal A-Spec for Dragapult, since that is a tool card. That tool card is one of many you can choose for Dragapult, and I can understand it fitted into these lists, which have a lot of tools already, and a way to find the tools with the Stadium card as well. So it's very interesting to see these different builds and variations. Squawkabilly, here we go with the Squawk and Seize. Once during your first turn, you may discard your hand and draw 6 cards. Now, that's really cool. All in all, it's feeling like Turbo Dragapult with Meloetta here. I think it's really interesting. I really adore the variety in deck building and deck lists, even with Dragapult, and I think that it really shows itself in these new innovations that come from new sets. I don't know if the West is going to follow the trend at all, but I think it's really cool to see the new cards in action, to at least learn what they do and see them in action and all that. So I included some gameplay. We'll go into that now. On this first turn, got it opening hand and deciding to go first, of course. Like I said, the deck is kind of built to go first, and right now we can put down some Buddy Buddy Poffins to go find our Dreepies to kind of start setting up as well. And we're hoping to get some stuff rolling. Trying to get, you know, energy. We didn't start out with a Carmine or anything like that, but getting the 2 Dreepies is good. Then we can see on the other side, we have a Genesect, and it shuts down a spec attachment from your hand, but that's only if it has a tool on it, and it does not have a tool right now, so we can go ahead and do that before attaching there and putting on that TM evolution there, using another Nest Ball just to have another Dreepy on board, straight to using TM evolution and evolving to Dracloak. So draw this is turn 1. That's so crazy fast and stuff. Now, not every hand is gonna have everything you need like that, but like the turn 2 Dragapult is real. I mean, if you can get the ball to search it out and find it, but come on. Now on the other side, hey, this is a preview of what's to come. Some like little bit of jank, little bit of meme deck. And, hey, listen, we're focused on the Dragapult in this video, but on the other side, basically the Rotom box revolves around tool cards. And it's tool cards attached to your Pokemon, and then your Rotoms will be doing, for 2 energy, 30 for every tool on them. It's an unfortunate matchup with Dragapult, I think, because of that spread damage and stuff. Here is Farfetch'd. This Farfetch'd is never used, but you can, when you play him on the board from your hand, you can search for a tool to put onto him. Look at that Fan. I know Fan's not often used or seen. This is a pure fun deck. And it's a preview of what's to come, but Dragapult really steamrolls this thing, in this game at least. Here's a Bravery Charm. Bravery Charm onto him, and then shuffle it up. Yeah, the Meloetta evolution, I'm still thinking about it. There's a Lucky Helmet onto Genesect, to where if Genesect gets knocked out, you can draw 2 cards. Now on the other side though, trying to get Dragapult, and we already have our Sparkling Crystal on there, so we can just really, we have Earthen Vessel, we can find the other necessary energy. Right here we can use Energy Switch, because Meloetta is not going to be utilizing that fire energy anymore. We needed that for the attack. And then on the other recon, we found another piece. Alright, it's looking at, there's that Energy Switch onto Dracloak, so that he's now powered up. Oh goodness, what did I forget? I forgot to discard the TM evolution after using it. Yeah, anyway. The Dracloak's powered up, and now here's Ultra Ball for Dragapult. He's coming, the big bag. Now with the Meloetta, it'd be nice to have like a rescue board or something to get her out of there. I think we have a switch maybe, but let's go ahead with Dragapult, shuffle that deck. Very easy. The setup, I can see it being easy, but like I said, I don't know how often you're gonna pull it off. I'll have to keep testing around with it. Now here's Earthen Vessel for some more energy, of course. We're gonna be able to attach somewhere still, since we energy switched. And there we go. We use a switch card to then switch them out, and then Dragapult's hitting the Genesect for 200, and then we're also gonna destroy that 60 HP Rotom, dropping 6 damage counters on it and KOing it. So that's 2 prize cards immediately. It's not looking good for this Rotom box. It's like a little funny jank deck. Okay. Anyway, but you can see the power. All right, and because of the Lucky Helmet, we're going to draw 2 cards. Then we're going to promote, I guess, and then we can draw for turn. Now, on the other side, needing to get more Pokemon. Here's Area 0. Area 0 unlocks things, but like my terrestrial Pokemon Cornerstone Ogerpon is not very helpful with Dragapult because it shuts down Pokemon with like ability, like attacks from them with abilities, and Dragapult does not have that. So here is attaching stuff, and then Professor's Research for a fresh new hand. We're able to see there's the Cornerstone. Fan Rotom. We're not utilizing it, of course, like since, you know, Fan Call can only be used on the first turn, but it's in this deck. It is on theme with all the other Rotoms, but it's another potential guy. Put that back down. Counter Gain allows you that if you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, your Pokemon can attack for 1 energy less. So this Rotom is going to be doing some damage with that 1 energy. It's counting how many tools are on there and doing 30 for them, so we're only doing 120. Like I said, you can imagine that this Rotom thing is a bit stronger when there's a bench of 8, and so on. On the other side, we can go ahead with this, and hey, I mean, we're sitting pretty. We're sitting pretty. Now, this is attached to Dracloak. We might as well just use Dracloak. We can pick from a tool. Grab that experience share, I think, yeah. And then we're going to put that on there in case we want to... I don't know, man. If we had a Psychic Energy, we could move that to Meloetta if we want, like, that option, but I don't think we need it, really. Here's another Dreepy coming down, and then we can just go ahead and do the same thing again. Just knock out the active and KO the other little guy on the bench, taking 2. This is a quick game. Like I said, we're kind of just showing off the little Dragapult gameplay, a little Meloetta action, small bit in the beginning, and just yeah. So here we go. Yeah, this one is probably the best to put. All right, Tatsugiri can let you look at the top 6 for a supporter. I don't think we do that yet. We have a Farfetch to put down. There's 3 in this deck. When we can attach a tool card to him, that's for sure. Yep. There we go. And then we can... We need another attacker. Our Fan Rotom doesn't have the tool attack. Ah! Here is that search. Find a customer search. We look for... Oh, yeah, the Lucian. The full meme deck here. Who's playing this? I love it. This is a full jank for fun thing. We actually, I think, use Lucian because we can't get farther with this hand, really. So I need to draw some cards. If you forget, Lucian... is like really bad. Both players have to shuffle their hand, put it at the bottom of the deck, and then you flip a coin. And if you get heads, you get 6 cards, and if you get tails, you get 3. That pause was me rereading it because this is never used. Tails, draw 3, get punished for using it. Then for the other side, full punish on this Lucian. This goes off the table. But then we try again, and it's heads. I mean, draw 6. Yeah, there you can have it. There we go. Yeah. There's a Rotom who can do the tool attack, but what are we doing? Very funny. We're gonna counter catcher up another Pokemon. Yeah, sure thing. And then pass. Yeah. Yeah, fun. All right. Yeah. For sure. Alright, Meloetta. Meloetta's not going to be doing some action here because she only does 30 damage, and she needs a Psychic Energy attached to her. So this is what I also mean, I guess, with her being not as useful late game, I want to say. But definitely tell me if you have other ideas, though. Maybe she can be useful in a sense that I'm not seeing, but here we go with Recon Directive, and then we're going to get that Stadium Bump, and yeah, just make everything a little harder. Go ahead, destroy Tatsu, place... a damage counter on, like, everybody. Basically make them in range, of course. So we're doing 1 damage counter on Rotom, 2 on that guy. Basically, all these guys are going to be within range of 60 next turn, of course. It doesn't matter, because, yeah, it's pretty packed up at this point. but we're just going through the motions, okay? So yeah, I can use this time to kind of wrap up thoughts. Basically, I think it's gonna be exciting to see the new stuff, and I like seeing some innovation and play. And you know, it's unfortunate that we don't have this sort of thing in the West like Japan has it, like this testing period of whether something's like good or what it's like with that. We will get that when these release, but I hope that the channel and the videos can also be helpful in a sense of giving a little preview of what's to come and stuff. So there is that attack, we're done here. Thank you, goodbye. Meloetta, yeah, there we go, paired up, yeah. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope this helped. I would love to hear your thoughts, especially if you play Dragapult already. If you're thinking about giving this a shot, what your thoughts are of it, how viable it might be, and so on. It's going to be really exciting seeing these cards in action when they actually release in July, and I think it's going to really shake things up a little bit. I hope so. I like seeing the new innovations. And I'm sure you do too. I'm sure you have good ideas, and I would love to hear it below. Thank you, of course, for watching. If you would like to stay tuned for more content, including some that are featured already in the match, like our Rotom box, stay tuned, feel free to subscribe, and like the video if you enjoyed it. It helps so much. I really want to make more content to help others get into the game, understand the game, and so on. And thank you, though, for all your support and help. I appreciate all of it. Thank you again for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!